So I've been disappointed that Governor Scott has not mandated the use of masks in retail establishments, because I just think it makes sense from a lot of different perspectives, from a medical perspective and from not spreading the virus. And there's so many things. Covering your face with a mask when you cough or breathe or talk. I was actually at a store today and somebody was talking very loudly without a mask on, and I could almost see the spray come out of his mouth. So if you put a mask on, it slows all that stuff down, and people aren't wearing them. Burlington decided tonight to put on their agenda a resolution that would require mask wearing in stores. So the retail establishments might have a little bit of gumption behind them to require the use of masks. And I think it's a great idea. And I think if Londonderry did the same thing, it's a resolution. It doesn't have the force of law, but it says, you know what, we're going to require masks in stores or cloth face coverings because it's the right thing to do. And it's another sign you can put on the door that says, by order of the town select board, masks are required in retail stores. And I think it would make compliance go up, and it would give a manager some backbone. Instead of the manager being the bad guy and saying, well, we really want you to wear a mask, the manager can say, the town has set this as a requirement. Masks are required in Londonderry. So from my perspective, it will reduce the conflict in stores by one person of the public maybe confronting somebody else in the public, which I think is always a bad idea. And it might make it a little bit easier for our stores. And I think that people would feel safer if we did it. So I was intrigued by the idea. I edited the resolution to change it to Londonderry, whether you act on it today or some other day or never. I wanted to throw it out there so you guys can consider it.
Kevin, do you want to weigh in on this?
Yeah. I guess for starters, I looked up what a resolution is, and it says that it's basically a formal statement of opinion. So this is not anything, a resolution would not be anything regulatory. And if the town were to consider doing something regulatory, that would be in the form of a, help me, Shane, an ordinance.
It'd be an ordinance, probably
An
something
ordinance.
coming from the health, the Board of Health, which includes the health officer.
Yeah. So an ordinance takes 60 days to take effect. So I don't think it's going to help us in the short term. The only other thought I have is whether, since we're operating under a state of emergency, if there's any changes to any or any authority by a town to do something like this. I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, so I do know the answer to that, and the town does have the authority to do that. It's written in the Burlington resolution that the town has the authority, and they state the statute, and I restated the statute and checked. Burlington's resolution had the word city in it, so I went on Vermont statutes online and checked, and indeed it does include towns. So towns do have the authority under the emergency order to do it, and I agree, it's not an ordinance, and that is a good thing, because I think that protects the select board from a lot of problems. It makes it easier. And literally, it comes down to words on a door that says, by order of the select board, masks are required. Does that mean that if somebody's not wearing a mask, you can take them, drag them down to the town hall? No, it doesn't do anything like that. The idea is that it would help increase compliance and help. You know, when I go into the IGA, I see people shy away from people that aren't wearing masks. They kind of scurry away from them. And I think it would make people feel safer. And I think it's from the fact that we have so many out-of-state people that come up to Londonderry all the time, and that's where the virus is. having everybody wear a mask protects everybody, and it's just one more tool in the toolbox put up there.
I support the idea of a resolution, and I think that the timing is really good for something like this, because today, May 18th, was the opening of more types of retail. That it's an opportunity now to start with those openings and not have people creating bad habits that need to be reversed. So I think the timing is right for this, and I know places in Manchester and around other areas where there's more retail than maybe what we see. There's signs on the door that say no mask, no entry. And I mean, that's pretty clear how the establishment feels. And I kind of agree with the idea of having, extending that support from the town to those managers and retail owners. That's my position. I agree, and I think the timing is right.
I'm not necessarily sure I agree. I still feel like the people who are going to not wear masks and the people who come up here anyway and don't quarantine, it's not going to affect them as much. I haven't seen any businesses in town that have had an issue standing up for themselves on their own. I'd still maintain that the issue of whether or not you wear a mask is a personal responsibility and not really a town responsibility or a state responsibility. But that's my personal opinion on this. So.
I think it's unfortunate that more stores aren't taking it on themselves to require that people wear masks.
I mean, every store that I've gone to in the past week has had a sign that said, masks are appreciated or masks are encouraged. I mean, there's so many walls of text on every store that you walk into, whether that's the social distancing one. I'm not really sure what an extra sign of, support or whatever would really do.
Well, that's exactly right. I think the fact that it's a resolution and not an ordinance is just yet another suggestion, if you will. But I think the important portion of it is to protect the people that have to go into the stores, and you have the choice to wear one yourself. But when someone else walks in without a mask on, you have had the choice of them wearing a mask taken away from you. So I don't know if I said that clearly, but
I get what you're saying, but also at the same time, if there's no real enforcement, I don't know. If it's a statement of opinion, which it is, then it's not one that I can really sign off on because it's not my opinion. But if it comes to a vote, I'll go along with it. But that's just how I feel about it.
So I liken it to smoking, right? We don't allow smoking in stores because smoking can cause cancer. And if you have the virus and you're asymptomatic, which we know many people are asymptomatic that have the virus, and you're coughing on the vegetables or you're speaking loudly or you're spreading the virus in the air, we know that that's how the virus is transmitted, just like we know that secondhand smoke transmits cancer. So those are knowns, and my personal opinion is it's a strong statement by the town of Londonderry to say masks are required. But I think I've said everything I need to say, so I'll be quiet and let you guys debate.
Kevin, you've had your hand up there for quite a while.
Yeah, I guess I just want to say as EMD to make my statement, and that is that I would definitely support this if the select board wants to do it. I'm not pushing for it. I kind of take my cue from the governor's office as far as, he's shied away from making things mandatory. On the other hand, I totally hear what Doug's saying, and if the select board wants to do this, I'd be 100% behind it.
Well, it wouldn't be mandatory for a business to post it. So if they
The
want
resolution,
this resolution wouldn't require anyone to post it at their business. We can't.
unless you edited the resolution. Right now, it's required to post it. The way Burlington's resolution is, which is what I plagiarized,
Mhm.
says that it's required to post.